That's an interesting question, isn't it? Maybe you could answer that in the comments, Blues fans. Would you sacrifice in terms of chancing or risking our first team players playing against Bradford, maybe possibly getting injured, and then being missing from Reading? Which you might think, we're already 9 points clear at the top, and we can afford to do that. But my priority always in my mind, I want to go to Wembley. I want to see Blues win at Wembley, but I want to, above everything, I want to see us promoted. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. Now, Birmingham City are just one game away from a Wembley final in the EFL Vertu Trophy. And Bradford City come to town on Tuesday to play Birmingham City. The winners going on to that Wembley final. And we don't know an awful lot about Bradford in as much as they are a League Two team, so not in our own league. So we've not played them this season before. So in this podcast, myself and Matt are going to preview the game, give our thoughts on Bradford, maybe give you a bit of information that you might not be aware of, and just give our thoughts on the team and what we feel about the match. So Matt, one game, one win away from Wembley. What's your thoughts?
Exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, and I just want to say, Dad, fair play to every Blues fan who bought a ticket, because this game sold out within about 15 minutes.
Was it as quick as that? Was it?
Apparently so, about 15 minutes. Of course, we didn't have to wait because we've been going to the game.
This is when they went on general sale.
So we had a tab on our account that said buy ticket, but when it went to general sale, 15 minutes it took to sell out. So I think people, if we get to Wembley, are looking at trying to get that ticket secured by going to this game. But I think St. Andrews should be absolutely bouncing. Let's get it like the Newcastle game. Let's get it hostile. Let's get it loud. Let's get behind the boys and hopefully secure our place in Wembley. But, Bradford are in the semi-final for a very good reason, Dad. They deserve to be there. They've earned their place in the semi-final. So let's not, as I say, think we're at Wembley before we've won this game. And I have no doubt they're going to turn up and fight for everything, aren't they?
They will, and they're a big team, Bradford. I remember when they was in the Premier League. Not many,
1999.
Yeah, so you're talking about in the last 25, 30 years.
They were in the Premier League, Dad, when I was in secondary school.
Yeah, so they're a team with a good history, good fan base as well. I think they've got the highest average attendance in the whole of League Two, and they'll sell their okay if they haven't done so already. So they'll come here with a good following, and with hope. They'll know that this is going to be a tough game for them because of our home record, because of where we are in the league. But this is a cup game, and we've spoken about this in pre-match analysis when we've had our FA Cup games as well as the other virtual trophy, and we know that in a cup game anything can happen, can't it?
Look at Newcastle. Blues Newcastle. We took them right to the line, didn't we? We went toe for toe with them. So, I mean, as you said, Dad, they're a club with an interesting history. I've just got a few facts here from their history. I don't know whether people know this, but they have a little star on their badge, or they had a star on their badge, whether it was for a special season or something, and that represented their 1911 win of the FA Cup. I thought, again, don't know whether anyone knew that. And as you say, Dad, they surprised a lot of people by getting to the Premier League in 1999. They stayed there for 2 seasons. And sadly, I don't really like to see this with many clubs, because usually teams yo-yo and stuff, but they've kind of been in decline really since then. And since about 2005, 2008, they've kind of been yo-yoing between League One and League Two, kind of in and around that second and third tier of English football. They're currently third, though, in League Two. They're 9 points from the top. But, having a good season.
They are, and they've turned it around because I think their current form is really good. So in the last 10 games in the league, they've won 7, drawn 2 and lost 1. That's not bad. We are equivalent in terms of we've won 7, drawn 3 and lost none. So against 2 informed teams, they're currently top of the form table in League Two, taking how many points have they got? They're taking 19 points from the last 8 games. They've got the second best home record in League Two, just behind Walsall. Their away record's not so good. They are just below half, so 15 points from 15 away games, so their away record is what's letting them down, really. They score enough goals. They scored 40 goals so far in 31 games in League Two, which puts them about 10th, and they've got the second best defence in League Two, so it's 28 goals conceded in 31 games. So they're quite good metrics there for them. But if you look at their recent form, it's excellent. A win is green. There's lots of green on here. Their last game they drew 0-0 on Saturday away at Newport at Rodney Parade, but they've got before that they'd won 6 of the last 7. Only lost once. and before that they'd won another 2 and drawn 1. So actually in the last, as I say, in the last 10 games they've won 7, drawn 2 and lost 1. So they're a team that's going to be confident, and for them, Matt, it's going to be coming to St Andrews with absolutely nothing to lose. Everybody's going to expect them to lose, and these are teams that will literally fight for everything.
Yeah, they seem like quite a collective group, Dad. And I don't know anything about Bradford. I'm sure you didn't either before this video, so we have to do our research on the teams, don't we? And I looked into their manager, Graham Alexander, just to have a look about his style, about his sort of previous roles and all these things. And apparently they call him a democratic manager. And I was thinking, what's a democratic manager? I mean, of course, we know the definition of democratic, but like in the context of football, he kind of has that John Eustace vibe. He kind of likes to get the players' input. Kind of has that. We used to take the mick out of Eustace team. Like, come by our football, like around the barbecue with marshmallows with the football team.
The group,
the project, the group, all that sort of stuff. But in all seriousness, actually, when managers do that, it does foster quite a good collective group of players, and it has a good connection between the fans. I mean, we can't knock Eustace that he did connect the fans back with the club, didn't he? He has that kind of thing. They predominantly play a 3-5-2, but they do also play a 3-4-2-1. So that's the two formations that they've been going with this season. And I've got a few little strengths and weaknesses. Won't take long to quickly go through, Dad. But they like to start games early. That's a real big theme. They go for early domination if they can.
So they'll kick off at 7 and we'll kick off at 8.
Talk about taking it literally. No, but they've scored a lot of goals this season in the first 10 minutes. So they do come out the traps quickly, something to be wary of. They are aggressive from the kickoff. They have a really effective press. I think they might struggle against us just from how we control the ball around the back. Even from Allsop to Clara, and way we go, we are very good from the back, but they do like to press well. And you mentioned it earlier, Dad. Thankfully, this is at St Andrews, but one of their biggest things is their strong home team. I think they really rely on that crowd, and it's a good stadium, 24,000, I believe, up in Bradford. So it's a good stadium. I don't think they sell it out every week, but it's a good side stadium. I'm going to guess for League One, League Two, it's up there, isn't it? A few of their weaknesses, Dad, lower energy levels, especially away from home. They struggle to stay in the game in terms of control the game like they would do at home. I think they really rely on that home crowd. They struggle against fast transitions. And again, Blues at the minute, when we do go forward, we are shifting it quite quickly, aren't we? So we could cause them quite a bit of trouble there. Physical direct play, they don't like that either. So again, if we can get a few balls in the box, which we've been seeing a bit more this season, haven't we, Dad? At the back end of this season, we've been getting a few more balls in the box. Cochrane, especially on the left-hand side, again, cause them some problems. And they do rely on big players. They have a player called Andy Cook who's out injured at the minute. I think he's got quite a serious injury, but he scored quite a few goals for them, and they really relied on him in that early part of the season. And there's another guy in the midfield called Richard Smallwood, and apparently he likes to control the game, and they rely on those big players a lot. I have no doubt they're going to come St Andrews and be competitive, Dad. We just have to play our game. I'll be interested to see what you think on the starting lineup, see whether Davies is going to rest on players and rotate. I'm sure he will. But either way, Dad, I have no doubt they're going to come and fight for everything.
Yeah, you mentioned there as well, a weakness is low energy levels, particularly in away games. That won't be a problem here. They're playing Birmingham City in a sold-out stadium in a semi-final. They will not have low energy levels here. This is the thing, isn't it? This is why, this is a game where they can come to and just enjoy, knowing that everyone thinks they're going to get beaten. And if they do get beaten, then everyone's going to say, they'll think, well, we were supposed to. And if not, they got the chance of actually bringing a surprise. But
it's a shock, isn't it?
Everything you said, I've got as well. They're very strong attacking down the wings as well. They're defensively defending set pieces they're good at as well. So that's really good. Just on their players, their top scorer, as you mentioned, is Andy Cook. Is he out injured? Did you say?
He is, yeah. He had quite a serious injury as well, I think.
Okay, well he's got 12 goals. Then it's and was that a recent one?
I think, fairly recently, yeah.
So he's their top scorer, centre forward with 12 goals. Then next is with 6 goals. He's Alex Pattison, central midfielder, and then 3 goals. Antonio Sarkovic, central midfielder, and then Bobby Poynton 3 goals, and then Callum Kavanagh, centre forward with 3 goals. So actually, if Andy Cook's missing from there, that's a big loss for them. That is not just against us. Clearly, I'm talking about them generally.
Yeah, of course.
Through the season as well. Assists: Antonio Sarkovic 4 assists, Bobby Poynton 4 assists. So Callum Kavanagh 3 assists. Richard Smallwood, the guy you mentioned, I've picked him out as well. He's a defensive midfielder, 3 assists, and Jamie Walker 3 assists as well. So a lot of those people in their goal scorers also provide lots of assists. So seems to be quite a lot of energy. You mentioned the formations as well, about the transition between 3-4-2-1 and 3-5-2, which they do sort of 50-50. Depending upon who's actually playing. But like I say, Matt, I agree with you. These are a decent League Two team. I think they'll get promoted. I mean, okay, that's that's me saying that without knowing a huge amount about them. But based upon my research for this match and seeing what I've seen in terms of their quality, the way that they got momentum moving forward, I think that what they will need to do is sort out their away form, though, to be sort of cement their place in there as well. But
the Wrexham pill. It's that thing, isn't it? Home form's outstanding. Need to improve the away form.
Yeah, in fact, looking at the league, their League Two form, their home form's brilliant, but their away form, the highest placed team in League Two that they've won away against is 16th place Milton Keynes Dons.
Right.
They've not won against a team away above that all season. They've got draws against Crewe in 7th place, Colchester in 12th, Cheltenham in 13th, and Newport away in 15th. But their first away win, if you go down the league, is 16th place Milton Keynes Dons, and then the only other 2 wins have been 2 of the bottom 3, Tranmere in 22nd and Carlisle, who are rock bottom. Right. So their away form's terrible. If you look at that, it's pretty stark. But like I say, this is a cup game where they'll come with a completely clean slate and have a go, I think, and see what they can do. But I don't think they're from a League Two team. I think obviously you said they're in the semi-final for a reason. Absolutely. They deserve to be there.
Absolutely.
And we'll see what happens.
And we say with a lot of League One teams that in the league they see Blues as a free pass. Bradford are definitely going to see this game as a free pass. If they win, they go to Wembley in the final. If they lose, we were supposed to lose. It's fine. So it really is a free hit, and it's a cup game under the lights. Sorry, excuse me, on a Tuesday. I think this is I feel like I say this a lot. I definitely said it on the Charlton game, and I was corrected, and you were right. But this genuinely, I think, because it's a cup game, it has the potential to be quite an exciting match, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it'd be great as well, Matt, with the full house at St Andrews and under the lights and a Wembley final. At the end of it, it's going to be exciting. I think.
Should we go into the Blues team?
Yeah, let's do that. And interestingly, this is now the dilemma: does Chris Davies actually think, well, I want to put a strong team out now because I want to get to a Wembley final, or does he persist with the changes that he's made in every single round of the EFL Trophy so far? Yeah. So let's go on to that then. So what's your thoughts?
So you go on through because I think I'm going to swap it round, Dad. If you do the defence this time, I'll do the attack because I think I usually do the defence quite a lot. So
okay, well I'm gonna work on the basis that I think that Chris Davies is going to rotate.
I agree.
I think he will. Gone for Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal.
Same.
I think Stampstead needs the game because he's been available and not played, so I think he might get an opportunity to start this game on the left because I think Cochrane will be given a break. Grant Handley and I've plumped for Ben Davies in the centre halves, and on the left, if he's fit. No, sorry, I've gone for Samstead on the right. Sorry, not on the left. And on the left, if he's fit, I've gone from Young J Lee.
Okay, we are quite close actually. Yeah. So I've gone Bailey Peacock-Farrell. I think Davies seems to be loyal to certain players in the cups. I think Bailey Peacock-Farrell has pretty much played majority of EFL Trophy games. And I've gone for Lee on the left as well. I think he will give Cochrane a break. I've gone for Clara and Hanley in the middle. Okay. I just think he's going to want that level of experience. But Clara's a human being. He's played a lot of games. We're talking ligaments and muscles. Does he rest him? I'm not quite sure, but I've gone for Clara. So I've gone Lee, Clara, Hanley, and Samstead at right back as well.
Okay, so we're pretty close, aren't we? So the only difference is between Davies and Clara. So one of those two will play. You believe it's Clara, I believe it's Davies, and the rest of it we've got the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to be honest. And this is not me shooting the player at all, but I always get nervous with Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal. And having said that, he played against Newcastle. He did okay, but then you look back at some of the goals.
I disagree on that, Dad.
Yeah.
I disagree. It wasn't his fault we lost it. I just think he could have done better. So midfield for me, Dad, I've gone for Bielek and Paik in the 2 centre midfield positions. I've gone for Keshi on the left, Dykes in the 10, right on the right, feeding into Alfie May in the 9.
That's exactly what I've got. Exactly. I'm surprised at that because I didn't know what you'd do in midfield.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty, isn't it? It's, obviously, I think Iwata will have a break. Paik is going to be fitter because he had an injury, so he's got probably have more in the tank, I would have thought.
It would usually be Mark Leonard, but of course he's injured as
well.
Yeah,
well, Mark Leonard would have been a banker for this one,
exactly.
I believe. But no, he's injured and we don't know how long he'll be away. I agree. I've gone for Paik and Bielek as well in the middle. And because I have not picked Clara centre half, for me that would make Bielek captain.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So yeah, right. Well, on the right. I think Dykes and May. I think it's a fair shout as well.
Mm-hmm.
But that's quite a change, isn't it, from the starting 11 that we?
From the starting 11 that started for the last 2 games. But we have seen these players very regularly still because Davies, he does give them quite a few minutes. I mean, Dykes had a really good run in the team. 3 or 4 games ago, didn't he? He started the last sort of 4 or 5 games pre that. So
I think he'll definitely start this
even
one.
Scott Wright had a couple of games. So these players aren't like, coming back off massive injuries or they haven't played recently. I think that they're more than ready to go. I think he's had this team in the cup. I'm not worried, by the way, by selecting this team. I think this is still a great team. And I think we will see rotation, Dad, just off the back of him being. Is loyalty the word? Because he's picked them in the cup before. I think he'll want to stick with some sort of core structure in the cup as well.
I mean, obviously we've on our bench. We're going to have some decent players, aren't we? Jay Stansfield. We're going to have who else will be on the bench? Allsop will be on the bench. Dowell, Iwata.
Yeah, Clara for you. Ben Davies for me.
I mean, that's a frightening bench. Yeah. But it's whether Harris maybe, and we haven't. I mean, Harris could get started in this, but I potentially would go for Dykes as a bit of a target man.
I was thinking about Williamson as well, Dad, because he's been a little bit rusty. By the way, I'm not knocking him. He's been all right, but I think there's definitely a player in there who's come back from injury.
He could get a start, actually, think about it, because he needs more game time just to get him up to speed. So yeah, a lot of conundrums there, isn't there, in terms of what and how Chris Davies will do it. But I do think we got a very important league game against Reading on the Saturday. That's a 12:30 kickoff, so it's an early one. I think that we will see rotation. I think a lot of Blues fans, not a lot, but some Blues fans might be thinking, well, this is one game away from Wembley, just put our strongest team in. But ultimately, Wembley would be brilliant, and of course we want to get to Wembley, of course we do. But would you sacrifice that for 3 points against Reading? That's an interesting question, isn't it? Maybe you could answer that in the comments, Blues fans. Would you sacrifice in terms of chancing or risking our first team players playing against Bradford, maybe possibly getting injured, and then being missing from Reading, which you might think, we're already 9 points clear at the top and we can afford to do that. But my priority always in my mind, I want to go to Wembley. I want to see Blues win at Wembley, but I want to, above everything, I want to see us promoted.
I agree.
So, I think that that's why I think Chris Davies will rotate, and he might do a mixture of the two, mightn't he? He might sort of rotate and then put a few key players
halfway house.
Because you could argue like the Dowell might get a start because he's still picking up games, isn't he, Dowell? And he's been outstanding for us as well. So I think Chris Davies, it's a headache for him, isn't it?
I think that the players for me that need a rest, Dad, is either Clara or Ben Davies. One of those needs a rest. I think Iwata needs a rest and Stansfield needs a rest. They're the 3 areas for me which could do with a break. Yeah,
I think so. And just keeping them fit for Reading, isn't it? Because that's another tough away game, that is. So interesting. What about score prediction? That's what we've got to.
Score prediction, yeah. So I think this is going to be a closer game than what some people anticipate. Just off the back of it being a cup game, I think Bradford might sit deep and try and grind out sort of a draw to get to maybe penalty shootout, because we've seen.
Is there extra time in this? I think there is.
I think there is in the semi-final. I think.
So I think if it's level after 90 minutes, and please correct us if I'm wrong, Blues fans, but I think that unlike the other rounds where if it's level at 90 minutes, it goes to penalties.
I might have read actually that it's only the final that goes to extra time penalties. Maybe we should.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll hand it over to the Blues fans and they can tell us. So if we're level after 90 minutes, what happens? My understanding was, and I may be wrong here, so please don't take this as gospel, but I believe that if it's level after 90 minutes, I think in the semi-finals it does go to extra time, and if it's level after extra time, then it does go to penalties. But
you might be right. I just feel like I read somewhere the only game that goes to extra time penalties in the EFL Trophy is the final at Wembley. Could be wrong. Happy to be fact checked in the comments, Dad. So let us know in the comment section below what the actual rules are. So coming back to score prediction, Dad, it will be close. I think they're going to sit deep. They're going to be defensive. But their away form isn't as good as their home form, and I think we will show too much quality here. I've gone for Birmingham City 2, Bradford 0.
Okay.
Bradford City. Yeah.
Okay. I think based upon rotation, the players which are all good players for Blues, by the way, whichever team we put out is going to be a strong team. I've also gone for 2-0.
Okay.
I was going to change that because in the past Matt's made a prediction, and just to make things, and even though in my mind I've had the same one, I've shaken things up, but I think this will be 2-0 as well.
Yeah.
And I think it will be a tight game because they will come at us. In terms of not come at us, but they will have nothing to lose. They'll have all the energy levels there. They're playing in front of capacity stadium in a semi-final, so I think they'll have all the energy levels they need, and I think this will be a for them it will be a.
That's interesting because I don't think they will come at us. I mean, I think they will have moments in the game where they pick the speed up and they will try and catch us. But
I've said that wrong. I don't mean they'll come at us. What I meant to say was that I think that they will they have a go where they can.
Yeah.
But I think that they will, like you said, they'll probably try and keep it tight for a while. Try and catch it on the break. I suppose what I'm getting at is that they'll have good energy levels. So I don't think that they will slack at all.
They won't pay as much respect.
No, exactly. Because ultimately, why would they?
No, I agree.
Why would they?
I hate it when teams show us too much respect. It's almost like, come on, at least have a go.
But one thing I would say, if they do come out of us, that'll suit us down to the ground.
Yeah.
Because that's what, if you're a Bradford fan watching this, every single game we've played in League One at home, teams have just literally parked the bus, blocked us, played the low block, and it's been like chipping away at us.
That's awful.
And we've got a great home record. We do get there eventually, but any team that comes out at us, we'll get behind and score because we've got fantastic options up front in midfield. Interesting, isn't it? We were one game away from Wembley. Looking forward to it, and it'd be nice if we could get over the line and just get that trip to Wembley, get those, what could be 50,000 Blues fans, however many tickets they give us, we'll have no problem selling them and have a Wembley final. But we've still got this hurdle to get through yet. Nothing we take for granted on this channel, so we need to be right at it in order to do that. Of course, the fans there will have sold out the ground, so the atmosphere is going to be cracking. So let's get right behind the boys again and actually push them towards Wembley. So we'd love to know your comments in the comments below the video. So add them for us. Let us know your thoughts on the game, the team selection, anything really you think about the game. And also, if you're a Bradford fan, if you come across this channel for the first time, we always welcome comments from the fans from the opposition team as well. So as long as they're not have foul language or abusive behaviour language in them, then more than welcome to put a comment below. We're always happy to read your comments as well. If you did like this video, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't checked us out on our social media channels already, pop along to our X page and our Instagram page. And if you like to watch or listen to your podcast on Spotify, you'll find us there as well. And you'll see the handles appearing on the screen for all these channels right now. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit the big red subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos that we put out all about Birmingham City. If you want notifications, there's a little bell icon that you can press and that'll notify you the second that our videos go out. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. And myself and Matt will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.